So welcome to my review of Super Dragon Ball Heroes, The Big Bad Mission, episode 14. And personally, one of my favorite episodes, just from a character standpoint, that you usually get great character moments from Vegeta, mostly in Dragon Ball episodes of Dragon Ball Super. I was not expecting the ending that we got, but I can't help but find it ironic and very funny that on the weekend where we got National Goku Day, this episode drops around the same time. This episode was all about Vegeta. Although we did get Goku in this episode, clashing with Black. We've got the Goku versus Black rematch ongoing right now. Although it's got to have a twist considering the ending. But this episode was all about Vegeta, which I do not have a problem with. I was kind of more confused, like, okay, Vegeta's in the visual, in the opening, the ending visual. I've pointed this out multiple times. Because of the players involved, like you have Golden Frieza, Golden Metacooler, Goku Black, the mysterious hooded figure, we yet to find out. They've also incorporated Perfect Cell, so I guess that rumor and the visual was accurate as well. So it looks like we're gonna have Cell return pretty soon. Like I don't really know what to think about that, considering the fact there's already enough players. But when you consider the fact that both Kumba and Turles were KO'd in this episode, it kind of makes sense to add them to add another villain. Now, overall, I don't know if that makes sense because I don't know where you fit Perfect Cell in all this. I would get because, especially with this episode, like Cell's gonna need something monstrous to go up against, like say Goku or Vegeta, or he's gonna have a role like Hearts. Like he's gonna be a wild card. Like he's on the side of Goku and Vegeta, which I can't really see. So you're bringing Cell back for a reason. Hopefully, it's an important reason, not just a throwaway. But at the beginning of the Big Bad Mission, we've had so many players introduced. We had Metacooler, who's recently reintroduced alongside Frieza. Turles, who we saw in this episode. We had Dr. W, who we saw previously in the last arc. Yeah, a pretty interesting episode. We haven't seen Bojack yet, but we did see Turles in this episode. So, speaking of 100% accurate, we actually got a confirmation by Toriyama himself. This is actually a pretty big weekend in terms of Dragon Ball, because we got a confirmation of a new DBS movie in the works. Like that movie's going to drop apparently 2020, so I don't know if that's too soon. If it's in the works, I'm guessing we're going to figure out something about the plot at Jump Festa. That's usually how it works later this year. And the quote about an unexpected return of a familiar foe. Like someone's going to make an unexpected return. We don't know if that's an enemy. Personally, I would like them to throw a curveball and have someone who we've seen in past movies, previously not canon, like they did with Broly, but throw a curveball and have somebody else being the main antagonist of the movie, and have them either team up with Goku or Vegeta, or have that enemy do something. But we don't really know at this point. But yeah, like I said, this was a pretty big weekend in terms of Dragon Ball news. But let's start with this episode, because this episode was great, because this episode really kicks into high gear with the action. Vegeta and Super Saiyan Blue. There's obviously a battle that was cut between Turles and Vegeta. Now, I was under the assumption they threw a number of curveballs in this episode, but one of them, I thought, like, Vegeta was going to go up against Combat and Turles. That's the perception I got. After the previous episode ended, no, it turns out this was a same free-for-all, because Turles was firing at Kumba was firing back at Turles, like, Vegeta was in the mix. So it starts off with Vegeta in blue, attacking Kumba. It doesn't work because Kumba fires off a huge energy blast, which almost KOs Vegeta. And then Turles is like, there's interesting quotes, especially from Kumba. Like Kumba said, like he insults Vegeta's pride, because it's like, oh, you abandoned your pride long ago, so your punches have no weight. Like, wow, and did Vegeta ever throw that back right at him at the end of this episode? So I like that, and it adds more to the mystique of Kumba. Like, where the hell where did he come from? Turles fires or at least attempts to fire an energy blast at Kumba. Now, I had to pause at certain points, because when I first saw Turles in this episode, I literally thought that was Raditz. Like, I can't be the only one. Like, when you see him with the long hair, but then as soon as you see him in close-up, oh, that's Turles. Like, where the hell did he get the long hair? Like, he's a lookalike of Goku, but does this mean he's a lookalike of Raditz as well? Because he's dead resembles Raditz, just with a different armor. But he had the fruit from the tree of might. He has the same aura as Bojack and Kumba. We've seen that before. He tries to use that to attack Kumba, and for the most part, he actually gets a couple of good shots in. Like, then after Vegeta gets taken gets knocked down. In comes Goku in Heart's Condition transmission. That was super casual, by the way. And we got Goku and Vegeta reunion. I thought this was going to happen much later on, but boy, did they jump from 0 to 100 real quick in this episode. Like, I don't know what's going on with the pacing, but I expected them to milk out the Black versus Goku fight. At least not yet. But they've jumped straight into that. Goku Black goes into Rose after meeting with Goku. Goku's like, oh, you're... And then it cuts to Goku Black going Super Saiyan Rose. I expected Super Saiyan Rose in this level to be a completely different beast, considering number one, he's wearing the Time Breaker mask, which we've seen Bardock and what happened to him. Just look at Xenoverse 2. Like, the guy jumps from Super Saiyan base to Super Saiyan 3. All forms in Super Saiyan. I wonder if they're going to give Goku Black a new form, although I'm not technically sure he needs it, considering how he handled Goku Blue, which I'll get into. But this episode was about Vegeta. He gets back up and he's like Black. And then Hearts tries to help Goku, but we don't really see him after that. He goes into his super form, and then that's the last we see of it. Vegeta is confused about the whole Goku Black. And then out of nowhere, Turles comes in and actually nails Vegeta. And it's like, oh, don't turn your back against me, saying Prince. And then Kumba fires a blast at Turles, and then Turles fires back with a few punches of his own against Kumba. It's like, oh, pretty good shot. And then he quotes Kumba and saying, the evil legendary Saiyan. Kind of is that a reference to the legendary Super Saiyan? Again, I'm going to get into that in a minute. But the quote when Turles is like taunting Vegeta, it's like, oh, are you humiliated? The anger of the Saiyans, the evil, wicked Saiyan, the ways of the Saiyans. Kumba says the same thing at the beginning of this episode, like the wickedness of the Saiyans, because there was obviously a speech by Vegeta that's cut off screen because it's like, oh, no, evilness is part of the Saiyan race. So we don't really get to see what triggered that conversation, but we kind of find out Vegeta's resolution by the end of this episode. So Turles uses the evil aura to try and manipulate Vegeta, and I literally thought we were going to get a Majin Vegeta Babidi 2.0 moment, where Vegeta is thinking about all the evilness in his heart, and he gets manipulated again. But no, the writers of this episode did a great job, a phenomenal job of playing with the expectations, at least with mine, because I thought we were going to get that moment. No, Vegeta uses that to his advantage. I also made it work was the montages of Vegeta, like his wicked ways in the past, what he did, killing Nappa, killing the bunch of the Namekians. Like, we got the moments where his character shined, like where he's like crying in front of Goku before being killed by Frieza, and then him witnessing Goku versus Majin Buu, and Vegeta admitting, like, finally, okay, Goku, you are better than me. That moment stands out for most DBZ fans, especially for Vegeta's character. So that was a great touch because it played your expectations. Like, is Vegeta going to get manipulated? But no, he turns out and says, no, that's not it. He makes that power his own. He doesn't go with Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, which I'm glad. He uses the corrupted power, the aura, to make himself stronger. And then you saw the sparks, and I can't be the only one thinking, oh, this is Super Saiyan Blue too. No, this is Vegeta making his power. It's not a different form by the looks of it. Vegeta using that aura. It's similar with Limit Breaker, where it's dead similar because Limit Breaker is just a power boost with the aura of the Saiyans, like what we got. So that was it looks like pretty similar in terms of Vegeta using that aura for his own benefit, which is cool because it's different. And then Vegeta uses that to pretty much KO Turles and Kumba, but the dialogue that Vegeta gives back is epic. Like, you usually you would expect this from a Dragon Ball Super episode or even a DBZ episode, not in Super Dragon Ball Heroes, because this is a promotional anime. So that's the first thing that threw me for a loop. He gives a couple of good shots to Turles, and then you should strive to pursue more power. Like, so you should live to fight another day, get stronger on your own. The second great quote he has is where he's talking to Kumba, and this really hits home because after that he fires off the Gallic gun, which is great because he actually finishes an opponent off with a Gallic gun. He takes down an opponent with a Gallic gun, and like I said, the montages of Vegeta's past coming to the forefront and added more to this moment. And the fact that he uses Gallic gun is so poetic, I think. Probably the greatest quote from Vegeta in this episode is like, if it's only about power, evil and good doesn't mean anything, which technically, yeah, Vegeta should know that better than anyone because the reason he has more power than ever before is because of the people that's around him. Like we know what Vegeta fights for, so he doesn't think that way anymore. The manga kind of forgot about that during the Moro arc because it made Vegeta completely. It seems like Vegeta forgot completely that he had the character moment in the Majin Buu arc, in the Kid Buu arc. So it's interesting where you can have Vegeta do something without spamming Super Saiyan Blue Evolution. That is so cool. Like I said this when we got the Super Dragon Fist with the Time Patrol, Goku and Vegeta going Super Saiyan 4 Limit Break. They could have gone in the fusion route, but they decided not to. Instead, they had Goku and Vegeta in Super Saiyan 4 Limit Break separately launch a simultaneous attack, the Super Dragon Fist, to finish off Janemba. That was great. This is another moment that adds to that because Vegeta uses a different type of power, a different type of method, and gets the job done. So he starts off with Gallic Gun against Combat, and then gives the quote, and then the second thing that shot the hell out of me is after that, Kumba tanks it, but he goes into base. But before then, his mask covering his mouth this entire time, it shatters. Like we see his face, everything, which I did not expect in this episode. It kind of makes me wonder if we're close to ever finding out where Kumba came from. Just because, okay, that mask was the mystique of Kumba, so now you take that away. What's going to happen next? But that threw me for a loop. And then he says, he says to Vegeta, "Oh, you used that power of manipulating people with that aura to make them go berserk. We've seen what that aura does. We saw it with Goku at the beginning of Super Dragon Ball Heroes. I think we saw it with Vegeta when they were fighting Bojack and Turles too. Like, okay, Kumba's like, oh, you made that power, made it your own. As he's doing that, he smiles and then he passes out. So that's kind of, it seems like Turles and Kumba gain some respect from, at least Kumba gains some respect for Vegeta. And then it says to Turles, get stronger on your own. Go and fight to live another day and get stronger on your own. He doesn't even kill him. Like Vegeta, that's not Vegeta anymore. So, like I said, the way this episode started and the way it ended for Vegeta is great from a character standpoint. So Turles looks completely different with that long hair. It's like maybe it's not so bad to live and fight another day and be a low class warrior. And Vegeta actually smiles. That was kind of cool. And then, but that goes away because of what happens by the end with Goku Black apparently besting Goku in Super Saiyan Blue. That ends with Goku Black in Super Saiyan Rose apparently besting Goku in Super Saiyan Blue. So, and there's actually a brief clash where Goku is avoiding Goku Black in Super Saiyan Rose, but it just cuts to Vegeta. So, it just cuts to Vegeta. Hearts was looking to help Goku out, so I wonder what happened with Hearts there. Because we just see Goku getting strangled by Goku Black by the end of this episode. And judging from the title of the next episode, looks like we're going to get a dream scenario for a lot of Dragon Ball fans. A lot of people have been asking for, they've been making fanfics about this. Goku Black in Super Saiyan Rose versus Ultra Instinct Goku. Now, we don't know what form that's going to be. But at this point, considering what the manga's done with Ultra Instinct, I don't really have a problem anymore. This is a promotional anime. The manga just spans Ultra Instinct anyway, so it's not going to matter anymore. So Goku's going to Ultra Instinct. We don't know what form. I would hope to think it's going to be Omen, but knowing what's happened already, I'm wondering if we're going to get Mastered Ultra Instinct at some point. So the twist with Combat, I definitely didn't expect Vegeta to get as much of a character episode that we got. And like I said at the beginning of this review, I was kind of more complex. Like Vegeta's in this visual, there has to be a reason for it. I wasn't too sure because it looked like casual Vegeta. But after this episode, now it makes perfect sense because of the power boost he got and because of the moment he got. So that makes total sense. Again, I kind of want to reiterate the fact it looks like Cell is confirmed to be in this arc. I wonder in what context and what role he's going to have. Because if you bring him back in a character like that, it has to be important. It has to be for a reason. Speaking of which, we actually get an interesting moment where Hearts jumps in with Goku. And he witnesses Kumba going all out against Turles, and Hearts pretty much says, "Oh, you're freely running wild now. I guess you're enjoying that." So that was pretty cool. So again, I wonder what's going to happen with Hearts because he's definitely setting up for a character redemption moment in this arc. He is in the ending visual too, so there has to be a reason for it. I love this episode. Probably my favorite episode of this portion of the Big Bang Mission arc thus far. Like the previous arc was my personal favorite arc, just because of the whole Toa and Mirror thing. But this episode was one of the best episodes we got. Guys, down below. That's gonna do it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like the review if you did it. Hit the thumbs up. I appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel for more Super Dragon Ball Heroes. Catch you guys later. Thanks, guys.